Shabbat. This is all in partnership with those who step forward to help us. So we didn't get out of Egypt alone. We got out of Egypt with help. And we have here, well, I won't say she's Moses or Miriam, but we have Congresswoman Ross, who is helping lead the way. And she won't stand idly by. And we can't thank you enough for your service to our country, to service to our community in your district, the 2nd District, but most importantly for standing by our community in times of challenge. It really means the world to us. So without further ado, we welcome the wonderful Congresswoman to speak a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I am Deborah, spelled like the book in the Book of Judges, so, which I remind people of because I'm very proud that that's the way my parents chose to spell my name. I see so many friends here, and it really warms my heart. Steve and I have been through some struggles together. We'll tell that story some other time. And Sharon and I we went to college at the same time, and we've been. Oh, who else? And Jenny, too. Oh, how exciting. Well, probably even more connections, and I've seen other friends, so it feels good to be among friends on this very, very special Saturday morning, and I just want you to know that my staff and I, Devontae Wilson, Kimberly Moore, we're honored to be with you today. And thank you for the very kind introduction. As we know, we are living in very tumultuous times and facing challenges both here in North Carolina and around the globe. But being with you today gives me a renewed sense of hope and community. I want to thank both of the rabbis and the entire congregation here for creating more than a place of spiritual guidance, but also a home and a safe space for so many in this area. And throughout history, both in the United States and around the world, the Jewish people have always fought for those in need and on the side of justice. Your mission to repair the world, I might mispronounce this, Tikkun Olam.
Perfect.
Yes, nice.
That's okay.
You got it.
Has brought Jewish people to the forefront for every movement of progress, from the struggle for civil rights to fighting for equality for women and the LGBTQ community, to helping refugees fleeing the war zone in Ukraine today. And I have relatives who left Odessa 100 years ago, and it really, really is chilling to my family. It seems to me that the Jewish people, having experienced so much oppression, persecution, and discrimination, are particularly sympathetic and empathetic to the struggles of others. The work you're doing here at Beth Meyer is an incredible example of how you're translating the strength and resiliency gained through struggle into a commitment to service. From contributing to homelessness and food insecurity here in Wake County, and I've done work with Graham at Green Chair, to helping our community during the pandemic and supporting refugees here and abroad, you define yourselves by serving others. While the Jewish community has the backs of so many others, it's important for people like me who hold some position of public trust to remember that you're still fighting battles of your own. With anti-Semitism and threats against Jews on the rise, you should not have to fight alone. We all remember the deadly attacks at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh and the Poway Synagogue in California, and most recently, as the rabbi alluded to, we were horrified by the hostage situation in Texas. Here in North Carolina, we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism, from concerning rhetoric on college campuses to hateful flyers distributed in Greensboro. Just this year, Rabbi Solomon found anti-Semitic graffiti right here in our community. The American Jewish community recently released findings that 1 in 4 Jewish Americans say that they've been the targets of anti-Semitism just in the past year. And in 2020, the Anti-Defamation League recorded a total of over 2,000 anti-Semitic incidents, making 2020 the third highest year on record. These heartbreaking statistics demonstrate the hard truth that too many American Jews do not feel safe in our own country. And that is unacceptable. We need leaders in Washington, Raleigh, and communities across the country to condemn anti-Jewish conduct and morally unambiguous language, and to hold the perpetrators of these attacks accountable. In Congress, I've been calling for additional funding for the nonprofit security grant program that helps pay for the security that you receive, which helps improve security at synagogues, Jewish community centers, and other faith institutions. In fact, we're also working on that for our HBCUs because we've seen threats to HBCUs here in North Carolina and across the country. As we know, some of the most dangerous movements and groups in our country often have ideologies based on anti-Semitic sentiments and conspiracy theories. Therefore, we cannot fully combat anti-Jewish aggression without combating domestic extremism in all forms. The January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol occurred in my very first week on the job, 3 days after I was sworn in. It was a particularly stark and dangerous example of how domestic terrorists, armed with hate-fueled aggression toward Jews and other groups, threaten the very fabric of our nation. I'm working through my role on the House Judiciary Committee to pass the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act as quickly as possible. And we had a 4-hour hearing on that bill last week. This bill will significantly strengthen the federal government's effort to prevent, report on, and respond to acts of domestic terrorism. And it's more important than now for us to set our differences aside, Democrats and Republicans, and send an unmistakable message that hate has no place in our country, and that those who spark violence based on division have no place in our democracy. Only when we work together, those in the Jewish community and those of other faiths or of no faith, will we be able to finally defeat anti-Semitism, which is one of history's oldest hatreds. As my colleague, the first Jewish majority leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, said recently, anti-Semitism must be combated wherever and wherever it rears its ugly head. It's vile, it's reprehensible, and it's counter to everything that American stands for: freedom of religion, equality, and respect for the dignity of every person. It's my responsibility as your representative in Congress to listen to and bring your voices with me to Washington. So please know that my office is a resource open to all, and we are ready to help. And that is why I brought folks from my office. We have 5 people in our office who work all day, every day, to help people with Social Security, with passports, with immigration, with whatever you might need from the federal government, and I want you to feel that we are here for you. I'm thankful to have an institution like Beth Meyer in our community rooted in the values of kindness, love, acceptance, and helping those in need. I hope to live up to those standards myself, both in my personal life and in my capacity as your Congresswoman. So thank you for the honor of speaking with you today, and I look forward to seeing you in the community, being back and worshiping with you, and helping you in any way I can. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before you go, just say we are so grateful for your powerful and strong words, strongly spoken. And we want you to know that really in this Passover, we'll be praying for you. Really, truly, the work that you are doing is a work of service. We know you do this out of love of country and love of our community and love of our city, all the diversity of it. But we know that leadership has its challenges. Moses saw it too, right? It's not always easy.
Yep.
I want you to know that we're praying for you to be strong, to stand by your values as you continue to do beautifully. And we are deeply grateful to you for your service and coming and spending this time this morning. We know how busy you are. It really means the world to the Jewish community. I know